The October, good evening and welcome to the October 14th, 2025 meeting of the Hampden Select Board and Board of Health. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was much better. We are in the Townhouse Auditorium. We are broadcasting this meeting on Zoom as well as recording it. Is there anybody else recording the meeting?
I have not seen this.
Okay, seeing none, you'll have to watch it on YouTube later and click on the like button, please. Thank you. Okay, we have minutes from October 6th. We met with Ben McCool and Lily Judah from the Health Department. We have an update on the police chief hiring, where we voted to make an offer to Dan Bruno. Brian will give us a report on that later. And we talked about the special town meeting. Update on the new town hall progress.
I'd like to make a motion to approve October 6 minutes for the Hampden Select Board.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Today is the time and date set for a public hearing about a transfer of a liquor license. This has been advertised. The applicants are here. And I will, unfortunately, a lot of the work has been done by our administrative assistant, Lauren. Unfortunately, she's under the weather and not here tonight, and we do thank her for, getting all this together for us. Quickly, give us a quick recap and then introduce yourself first.
Sure. Do you need to open the public hearing, or you want me to give it?
That was it.
Okay, perfect. My name is Matthew Porter. I'm the attorney for Hampden Liquor Inc. Along with me is Jignesh Patel, Megha Patel, who are husband and wife. They're two of the principals of the applicant before you today. Megha is going to be the proposed license manager, meaning she'd be the person on site 40 to 50, I'm sure, if not more, hours per week. These guys have a wealth of experience in the liquor industry. They've operated a store in Longmeadow for nearly 5 years now. And so this is their opportunity to purchase a store in Hampden, take over a new location, but very experienced operators. Had no issues whatsoever at their other locations. They're both alcohol tip certified. There's currently a scanning machine to check for fake identification in the store. They'll continue to use that as well. So no major changes to the business. They are rebranding it as Four Seasons Wine and Liquor Hub. Just a little bit of a refresh on that, but there's no changes to the hours, no changes to the structure of the business whatsoever. So pretty seamless transition, or should be a pretty seamless transition with the experienced operators here. Their lease is in place. Their financing is in order. The board will see that in addition to a request for the transfer of pledge, there is a request of a pledge of license and inventory to Rockland Trust. So Rockland Trust is financing the transaction. So as a result of that, we need to request that a pledge be approved by the board as well. But certainly.
When is the transfer scheduled to take place?
So that's ABCC dependent. I'm not sure how much liquor licensing is done here, but I'd say 2 months is pretty quick there. Oftentimes, lately it's been close to 3 months, but essentially the board approves it today if they're so willing, and then it would go up to ABCC.
Right, we're coming down to the end of the year. They're doing the balance of their work right now anyhow. Right.
The hope would be the end of the year. Obviously holiday time is a big time for the package store, but we're kind of at their mercy. So,
okay.
We don't anticipate any problems up there, but it can take a little while.
Couple quick questions. So you currently have an operation in Longmeadow. Is that the one in the little plaza where Hukilau used to be?
No, it's just Longmeadow.
No, Longmeadow.
Longmeadow.
Big Y, opposite of the Big Y. That's
what I said, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Four Seasons.
Near where Hukilau used to be. Yes, yeah, that same little plaza? Okay, yeah, okay. Are you going to be keeping that operation?
Yes, like.
Okay, so In terms of personnel, so Megan, you're going to be in Hampden most of the time?
Yeah, Mega,
And you're managing the other one?
yeah.
How many other employees do you anticipate having?
We have 3 other employees for,
Between the 2 locations? All right. And you mentioned before, they're tip certified, the new ones are,
Yeah, they have their tip certified.
now you know they do.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
anybody that would be hired would be required to be alcohol tip certified.
yeah, every
Yep.
first week.
Okay. So this is the first step along the transfer.
Yeah, I mean, it's the licensing step, so
Right.
they're under agreement, you know, their bank approved their loan, so they have that in order, they have their lease signed, and the lease is just contingent upon license approval. So essentially, we're at the juncture of just, you know, getting through our licensing and then being able to close on it. But
All right, do you know if the current owner is going to keep operating until the day of transfer?
they will, yep, so they'll continue to operate, and then once the ABCC approves the license, the agreement has us closing within a couple weeks after that, so everything is kind of lined up to, you know, so we get everything in order, license approved, and then they'll set up inventory, work through all the changeovers of the system, and then they'll be up and running.
So is there a period of closing you anticipate, or is there a,
There's not a period, no. You know, upon ABCC approval, the attorneys get together, you know, put together all the closing documentation, and at that point,
I'm not sure we're talking the same, is there a day when the door is closed and nobody walks in? Is what I'm saying. Is there a
no, I
okay.
mean, generally, like, if we had license approval and we were gonna close on a Tuesday, then the seller would operate through Monday evening.
That's
They
what I'm
would-
questioning,
They would
yeah.
count inventory on Monday night, and then we'd close on Tuesday morning, and these guys would open
That's what I
the door.
meant.
So, no, there's no,
It's a
there's no
seamless,
interruption.
seamless transition, you're saying?
Supposed to be, generally.
Supposed to be, yeah,
Yes.
well.
Yeah, usually is.
Sure, well, that's why we have lawyers.
Yeah, no, but there won't be any period of interruption with the business.
Okay. Holiday time for people, I'm sure they appreciate going to the regular place. Any questions-
They would like to get in there for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, am I reading this long? Look at 6, question 6. 6A.
Yep.
Don't they have places in Long Meadow? It says, does any individual entity identified in question 6?
Oh, 6A? Yeah, but we'll have to, I will add that and get that over to your office. That should be in there. Yep. Yep.
So you got no check, so you gotta,
Yeah, nope, we can make that correction for sure. I'll have our office do that tonight.
okay.
Get that right over to your office.
Let's see what else I got here. There's been no disciplinary actions against the other license, right?
No.
I don't have that.
It's in your email,
Oh, no.
Rockland Trust. So I guess, so how do we do that? Do we make a motion to accept the license transfer contingent upon,
ABCC,
well, we gotta correct that first.
right,
Yeah, I will take care of that tonight. We'll get that
okay.
over to your office.
Eric? Anything?
Oh,
Okay.
you guys covered it.
Okay,
Okay, I move we approve the license transfer. You can figure out the names later on. And contingent upon correcting item 6 of the application.
6A.
6A? Right, 6A.
6 and 6A.
6A.
And then, if I may add, the ABCC requires just that the approval, the pledge of license and inventory be approved by the board as well. So it can be through a separate motion or through the same motion.
Have we seen that pledge?
It's part of the application,
the
so it's a joint application, so, yep, it's in there.
Okay, including the pledge.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
get that over, right?
Thank you, appreciate it. Thanks, appreciate it.
We'll wait on signing that until we see the correction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're gonna sign it till we see the correction. That's why you pay lawyers.
Of the details, yeah.
now is the time and date set for the financial team to come and share their wisdom with us. We invite you to the front row. We offer to share our cookies with you.
We're gonna have to cut back on cookies.
The town has not paid a dime for these cookies, I want to be clear on that.
Well, what else can we get for free?
Our wisdom?
There's a wide open on it.
No.
Pay for it, let's just go with that.
So, we put on the agenda, a discussion of free cash, a discussion of our financial state, and what we might be doing for the upcoming special town meeting. Before us, we have a couple members of the advisory committee, Doug Boyd, John Matthews. We have the sage himself, you, Dick, and the newest person to our meetings. Welcome, Elise.
Thank you.
Our new accountant. He's brought a laptop and everything. Okay, so you're all aware that we got the official notice from the state of our free cash?
Yeah, I don't know where the $500 difference went, they reduced it about $500, I hope that doesn't break us, but.
Those cookies.
Yeah, yes, cookies.
Hey, no, I told you.
Before we get into where we're at, I sent some emails around, does everybody understand why the free cash number is about double what it normally is?
No.
So if I can ask, what was the number? Yeah,
What's the free cash number?
here you go, John.
Yeah.
Thanks, sorry.
Okay, so
You get it done?
last year at the fall town meeting, about 50 weeks ago, we were looking at the water project, and we took $650,000 out of stabilization to pay down the water project. And we were gonna put 400,
Wasn't that motion gonna go to free cash?
it was to
Reduce the tax rate.
yes,
With the end purpose being,
yes. So, okay,
But the,
procedurally,
but the original bonding thing, the bonding warrant says that we're gonna borrow. It doesn't say anything about using unappropriated money.
so
or-
if you let me tell the narrative, maybe it'll make more sense, Don. So our intent was to take $650,000 from stabilization and $450 on the FY '25 tax rate and pay down 1.1 million of the water project. I was told that I could raise that on the recap sheet. There's a place on page 3 where it says other debt and interest. And so we plugged in the 1.1 million on the recap sheet. DOR, DLS was not happy with that. Oh, that's for minor debts that you've forgotten. We weren't allowed to recap that. We should have made a motion at the fall town meeting to do the 1.1 million to pay down the debt, or appropriation to pay down the debt. So Brian and myself and Kelly and Cliff sat in my office and Zoomed with DLS, DOR, and they yelled at us for about 20 minutes. And we said, well, if you don't allow this, we're going to have this $1.1 million reduction in our tax rate, and it's going to kind of screw up our plans. So after they finished beating me with a stick, they said, okay, this is what you can do. You can reduce your anticipated local receipt number, which I remember as being $918,000, and that will take the majority of it. And then you can have the assessors increase the overlay reserve number, which is usually around $150,000, add the balance to that, and then in a year, they could declare that surplus, and we'd have our $1.1 million. So Cliff did reduce the anticipated revenues down to zero from the $918,000. The assessors were asked to change their overlay reserve number, and they decided not to. They said it was their number and they weren't part of the team. So we were able to raise that extra 900 and something thousand dollars. And because of that, that flowed to free cash. And that's why where we normally on a good year have $900,000 in free cash, now we have 1.8 million. So they didn't allow me to do something that I thought I could. We made the best compromise we could so that we weren't leaving all that money on the table that we needed to pay the water at the district. The idea was to go into this town meeting, do the appropriation for that money, plus put a little money on the 26 tax rate. My goal was to have the water project paid for before we had to bond for the firehouse. And that gives us 25, 26, and 27 to do that. Now we look at a situation where we're in our budget, and I don't think that's possible anymore. Because we are in pretty bad shape as far as our tax rate goes. Does that explanation of how we got that free cash number make sense?
Well, it does. I mean, bottom line, it's the same money we were talking anyhow, except it's actually a little less because you were hoping for 1 point something. With the 450,
yeah,
now it's less than that.
Right.
All right. So back to your statement about being in a tough shape for setting the tax rate. Brian, and you have some numbers, the base budget went up a considerable amount. Outside of the water projects, outside of warrant articles, the base budget went up a large percentage. County retirement, other expenses, contracts, et cetera.
Employee benefits.
Things like that.
A lot of numbers.
Same expenses that people in their life have as well going up. So we had a water project at $3 million. We got $1 million from the state towards it. We had $2 million to pay off, basically, these are round numbers, over whatever period we set the payoff. You wanted to be, I'll call it aggressive because you saw more things coming down the road. It'd be good to clear the decks before they came.
Right.
If I'm saying it wrong, but I think that's your point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just after the ARPA money that was used and the grant money that was used, the anticipated cost of the water project is 2.13 million.
So that project, we had a savings from Balthasar, I thought they came back in a little, that's with that too?
Yeah, remember, we originally were looking at $3.5 million project, and it did come in less than that, plus we had the $1 million in grant money, plus I don't know if I have them.
A couple of things during,
250 or something like that, sounds,
and then during the project, they actually had a couple savings things too, so.
Yeah, there's, the net and the change orders and the work change directives is about increased cost, about 90,000.
Dropped it down,
No, up.
Yeah,
even with the house we took off and
Yep.
stuff? Oh, okay.
so
Could have been worse, you're saying, if we didn't take those off.
I got these off Brian's last spreadsheet from there, so it's 2.13. If we do the 950 we were planning on the FY25 money, that would bring us down to 1.187 thousand that we would still have to cover over the next couple of years or whatever.
Couple years, it could have been, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it could be 2 years, but.
All right. One other thing I would note, and this is just for, we talk about looking at the free cash thing. One number I always look at is the real estate tax receivables. And I did notice it's a 50% increase over the prior 2 years. Typically, they carry 400. This year, it's 600. And that may be a statement, maybe I don't understand it enough, but I think it's a statement over potential difficulty some people have in paying real estate tax. I think it's something that goes to your point, Don's made the same point as well,
You're talking about uncollected tax.
collected as well, that,
Do we know if there's actually been an increase in the amount of delinquent?
I don't think we have that, but I'm sure that they don't just throw that in there for,
They're anticipating.
right, So that would have been an extra 200,000 in free cash if they weren't upping that number. I was surprised there wasn't more of a hit. Oh, there it is. That's that 15, I think that's the, is that the enterprise? Yeah,
Yes.
I think Don, we actually thought that might have been a higher number,
yeah.
so not as bad as we thought it would be. So, going forward, you still have basically, the plan you're bringing forward is to stay the course, still make the transfer against the water project debt that was projected last year out of the revenue at the town meeting.
I would say, I believe we have some kind of obligation to at least pay that 950 or whatever, something in that range that we taxed last year for. I would really,
Because we took 650 out of stabilization to beat that bill down.
Well, that was at what meeting?
a fall town meeting last year.
So that was the prior year tax rate.
No,
That we're paying now.
that's FY '25.
So that's the tax rate we have right, that we're
Right,
paying
which
right
is
now.
which is why we have the 1.8 in free cash.
Right, but I'm saying that's the current tax rate we have right now, is,
25.
No, that was 25, that's the year that's already over.
right, but I'm saying that's the current tax rate we just got the last bill for.
No,
I'll take it back, okay.
26.
No, excuse me.
26 now.
No, I understand, but the number we're paying right now is predicated on that tax rate.
Correct.
The first 2 quarters of this year are predicated on that tax rate right there. Right. So the next going up would be based on what we spent at the annual town meeting, which was the huge increase.
right.
Right.
So right now,
You're saying, so because you couldn't use the 950 at that meeting,
the
the money had to be added to the, so when we set the tax rate in December last year, it was predicated on basically raising that money through an appropriation instead.
Right.
So that's what we're paying right now. So since that's in the tax rate already, you've already appropriated that, couldn't we then use the 950 to reduce that tax rate? It seems like we're in 2 different tax years.
But we're not, we raised the money for the purpose of paying down the water project. That's the reason we did it. And we're not paying down the water project.
But we didn't, we didn't raise the money per se. We transferred money out of stabilization to
We
free cash.
artificially inflated the tax rate in order to have money to pay down the water district.
Right.
We didn't do an appropriation, and, we're, on the finance team is bad for that. We screwed up. But we made the best we could of it. We raised that. Again, people were taxed based on the idea that we were going to pay that water bill down.
That's what the commitment was.
Right, to reimburse.
We're
but-
going to be paying towards the water district.
It sounds like we're not going to be able to put any money on the 26 tax rate to add to that, but I really hate to see us abandon that commitment.
Okay,
Who was the commitment to?
The voters, the townspeople.
right, but I go back
We
to,
never said that to them.
but I also go back to,
We-
you
we-
paid down, how much have you paid down the water? on the
Zero.
tax? You just said it was added to the taxes.
Yes, but we weren't allowed to write the check. We were allowed to tax for it because of the gimmick,
I got it.
but we haven't been able to pay the bill because we don't have an appropriation. So we have not paid down the only money that's been spent to pay that down is the ARPA money and the grant money.
Right.
Well, we've written some checks, but we're gonna have to borrow for that if we don't do an appropriation to pay it off.
Okay,
We have not put any money toward this.
and I got that, but forgive me for sounding obtuse, but you sent out 4 tax bills, February, April. Okay, boom. That money, those bills included the money voted at that meeting,
Exactly, and where did
which
that
gave
money,
you an additional revenue of,
and where did that money go?
I assume, into the bank.
It went into the free cash number. It inflated the free cash number by over $900,000. That money was earmarked to pay down the water project. If you use that money now to reduce the tax rate, then there won't be any payments on the water project, and I consider that a breach of faith.
Okay, but you've got double the money.
No,
Okay, no, then, all right, let me walk through it the way I see it. You tax for that money.
Yep,
Right, so the money came in through taxes.
Yep.
You also have the money in stabilization that was authorized, which could, so you have two pots of money.
no, money came out of stabilization and was transferred to general fund, because that's what the town meeting voted.
And I got that, but it wasn't spent. So you got $900,000 you raised through taxes.
Right.
You've got also outside there $650,000 that was earmarked to come out of stabilization.
No, it's not additive. It's not additive. The money that came out of stabilization, the motion is actually to reduce the tax rate.
Right.
So that is part of the 900,000. It's not two different pots of money. We were only able to reduce the anticipated local revenue number by the 908 or whatever the number was. I mean, that's the extra money.
When the 650,000 came out of stabilization to lower the tax rate, what did we do with the money?
The cash,
Yeah,
it went into a general fund check, savings account, money market account.
so it didn't go to lower the tax rate.
Yes, it did.
They were able to take it into account in the process of setting it.
Don't confuse the cash with the accounting.
I think confusion is the word right here, but okay.
I apologize if it's sounding like I'm.
No, it just does seem like we
No,
raised the same
you're
money twice, that's all. It just, you're saying we set the tax rate, we weren't allowed to use that money, so people got taxed for it instead of it being lowered.
And so
through
where
other
did it
money.
go? Where did that extra 900,000 go?
General fund,
General fund, right,
Which went to free cash.
great.
which is where.
So, but my point is, and this goes back, you're saying there's an obligation here, but technically, we raised through taxes, I want to say, the second third of money to pay the water project. We've already been taxed for it. And honestly, it seems like with this extra 950, you'd be that much closer to paying the whole thing off. I don't understand why the money you raised through taxes, because we had to recap it that way, isn't there to spend down the second third.
It is.
Okay,
It's in the free cash number.
great.
That's why the free cash number is double what we would normally see.
And I don't see why that's that same number. You said we set the tax rate based on the appropriation.
But the problem was there was no appropriation.
Okay, it was an authorization to borrow.
Right, the authorization to borrow does not affect the tax rate.
All right, that was my, all right, that's the differential right there.
It has
Okay.
nothing to do with the tax rate until you do actually appropriate to pay the debt.
All right, so how,
We have an $8.7 million authorization to borrow that won't affect our tax rate for 2 or 3 more years.
right, but I mean, right now, we're, I would say, 60-70% of paid through the water project at this point, based on the bills we've seen.
Okay.
So we pay those out of the, obviously, we have plenty of money in the bank to pay, write the checks.
Yeah, cash flow's fine.
Right. So, but at some point, an accounting has to happen, like, okay, what did that come from? All right,
At some point, if I don't have whatever we spend at the end of this year, of this fiscal year 26, by June 30th, if I don't have an appropriation to pay for it, I am forced to borrow that money. I cannot just keep it out of cash flow. I can't do an internal borrow. I have to go at least get a state house note, which is not a big deal. It's a $400 expense, in order to cover that, to roll it to the next year. So, yeah, it's cash flow and accounting are not the same thing.
So what if you borrow the whole 2 million?
Yeah, I can do that. When do you want to pay it back?
well, we borrowed 3 million for Green Meadows, and we paid it off over 20, 30 years.
That was a bond, and here's my worry. My worry is that when we go for a bond rating for the firehouse, if we have a large short-term debt, it's going to hurt us on our bond rating, and it's going to cost us more in interest there. Maybe that ship has sailed, maybe there's nothing we can do about it, but I don't think we can kick the can down the road forever. I thought we had a 3-4 year window to pay this off. And now the rest of the budget is, gotten rough enough that,
That's kind of what my concern is that I'm worried about next spring. And if we, let's say theoretically, you bonded to 2 million, a total of 2 million. And then we took 650,000 or 700,000 to lower the tax rate. Took another 700,000 to, or 600,000 to pay off what these warrant articles are. Do we have about 400,000 or 500,000 still in free cash? That may help us come next spring.
right now, if you passed everything that's on the warrant, and I'm assuming that the latest numbers were good.
770 or something like that?
Well, we got 1.7 million on there right
Yeah,
now.
well, counting your things, yeah.
Yeah, counting the 950, yeah, you're absolutely right.
So just take the 950 away.
Okay.
So we're like 800 on warrant articles, separate from the water project, right?
Wow.
Just a thought.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Well, right, if you did everything, including the water project right now, we would go from an excess levy capacity of 1.3 million last year, i.e. excess levy capacity, the difference between what we're taxing and what we're allowed to tax under 2.5, to a minus $536,000 levy capacity.
So it's Prop 2.5 override.
That requires an override, which this town has never done, I don't think.
If we don't pay for these things, we're free cash. If you're saying if you raise and appropriate for everything on the special,
No, that's using free cash. That's using free cash.
That's using everything.
still goes over the levy?
Yes.
Yes, way over. I don't know what it would, I don't know what it would be to do, not pay anything on the water project, because I didn't consider that a possibility. But if we did only the water project, if we spent $950 at town meeting, then our excess levy capacity would go from 1.3 million down to 265,000.
Which is close still.
So we would blow off 1.1 million in excess levy capacity. And we have been over $1 million in excess levy capacity for a long time, probably 10 years. We're headed for 2005 or wherever it is, at this, at the rate we're going.
Well, at least you have money in stabilization. Yeah, no, he's
May
talking about
5.
what we had in
5.
2005, we had $700 in the
prefer to
savings
forget
account.
That was the blood, what we call the blood in the street years.
So that's what I'm thinking, if we bond the whole 2 billion and just do a few of these things and save some money, free cash for the spring town meeting. See what happens then.
Now, if we have extra money, can we put it on the bond?
What type of a term could you get for $2 million? I mean, how far
I'd get a
do you
state.
realistically stretch that?
I get a state house note, they're good for 1 year and you have to renew them. It's like when we used to do fire trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep rolling the sucker over, yeah.
How much do you pay on an annual basis? Then you get a state house note for,
No, I don't know, probably 4.5%, 5% right now, and then they're not outrageous.
If we
well,
have
well, but I don't think we're
extra money,
trying,
put it on that?
maybe I'm wrong, you get a note and just paying the interest, I'm saying,
Pay the penalty.
you get would you get a 5-year note from?
No,
like,
you get a 1 year note, state house notes, they're not bonds, they're notes.
Right, but how much are you paying down on an annual basis?
Whatever you appropriate.
Oh, okay, fine, that sounds, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, last time I did a fire truck, we did it in 3 years, it was $150,000. So we paid 50,000, we borrowed 100, then we paid off 50, and we borrowed another 50, and
And there was, I think, 1 year, we said, look, there's only 2 years left, let's pay it off now,
yeah,
yeah, okay,
it's-
all right. So you have the flexibility with the notes to basically pay what you can afford. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like I said, Brian was projecting, without any action, a, 12, 13% raise, jump in the tax bill?
If we don't use available funds to reduce the tax levy, yes.
Okay.
With all,
Tax rate.
with all warrant articles being approved?
It would be,
Was that with warrant articles, or that was after?
I've got a
town meeting?
12.5% is what my calcs were, and again, we don't have every number.
Yeah, right.
You know,
But that was not even.
it's using all free cash,
Yeah, that was.
and that was including the 950,
For the water
water
part.
project,
Yeah.
12.5%.
So you're saying if we took no action on the warrant articles and applied the excess roughly 800,000 towards the tax rate, we still would go up 12% in taxes?
No, we'd go up about
That's what I was questioning, yeah.
7.
Yeah, I think it's around that,
Yeah, okay.
in that range.
Wait. This also goes back to what the board was kind of kicking around in the earlier meeting. Some of these projects, like even looking at the 300,000 for TWB, a large number for HVAC at the senior center, should this be more of an omnibus, basically capital improvement type thing where we take a bite, just like, heck, even roll it into the water district money? This almost goes back to, Doug, the 5-year bond for the roads at that point.
The other,
So this is just for floating stuff, Dick?
I
and you
know,
can-
the other possibility, and I'm just putting it out there, is we still got 1.3 million in stabilization. That's about 8%. DOR says we should be between 5 and 10. I got it run up to 12 before we hit it for 650 last year. You could certainly make a case that, you know, the $300,000 for TWB, maybe, I hadn't thought about the senior center project, throwing the furnaces away and buying new ones. You know, I guess you could consider those capital items that might be fair to come out of stabilization. But again, I'm trying to think about what our bond rating is gonna be when we go to borrow for the firehouse, and, you know, I don't know how we're not changing anything that would give us a situation where we can restock stabilization. You know, we're kind of a victim of the COVID money, ARPA money.
I'm sure everybody is.
Yeah, and, you know, the schools are as well. They hit us pretty hard the last 2 years, because that money's dried up. So, but our chickens have come home to roost, I guess, is that the phrase?
All right, so obviously we need some, kick around some direction here. Advisory is going to be meeting pretty soon to start talking about,
Meet next Monday, 20th,
okay, and your hearing is the following Monday.
following Monday.
I really think that we have a spending problem that we need to be more aggressive on, and I feel bad for the people who happen to have projects at this fall town meeting, but I'm worried that just putting it on the credit card isn't gonna be the way to go. And I do have a real problem with us not putting at least the 900 and whatever, pay down that water debt, I really do.
If I could just add at the town meeting, so we had the typical operating budget expenses, but then we have another 671,000 in special articles that were kept, essentially capital projects. So we did make an investment for capital projects for fiscal year '26. There was $90,000 for the switches at Green Meadows. There was 2 appropriations for moving to TWB and additional money for TWB. There was senior center roof, 2 lawnmowers, I think 20,000 each. So, I mean, it's not like the town didn't invest in its, you know, in its equipment in buildings. It's just, this is sort of a second bite at the apple, and I'm not sure how much apple's left. I do know how much apple's left, but not a lot of apple left.
We're down to the core.
Depending on how we move it, you might get a little bit bigger of a bite, but
So the thing is, of the warrant articles, I mean, have you had discussions about prioritization on those?
Well, I think part of tonight, I mean, you know, I can't speak for the board. I think, you know, we're looking at the loader might not be a priority for this year. It's a good deal. And in a different year, it'd be a great deal. But based on what's happening there, I don't know. You might even have a question about the cruiser. Again, how bad are they? They can't wait till the spring? I mean, you have 3 guys on the road and 6 vehicles. You can't tell me that.
0.5% on the tax rate. Cruiser's 0.5%. 150 is about the number right now for a 1%.
Is it? You know, so those are questions I think that are out there. Infrastructure, i.e. building repair, well, that's a harder thing because the longer you let it go, just like at home, it gets worse. If you don't get it when it's early, it's not getting any cheaper. And if we're playing, I mean, look at Thornton Burgess, we're pretty much committed to move in there. So we have to get going on fixing the structure. HVAC has to be done, it's gotta be done. That might be one that's not much of a thing. Benefits, we gotta pay benefits. We had the money, we paid the money out, you gotta put it back in. Health costs aren't going down. Pickup truck,
There really
Transfer
isn't that
station.
much in discretionary spending when you strip it away. I mean,
it's not much.
a
I
few
mean,
things, but I mean, most of it is, obligations that we have to meet.
right. And it's kind of like Brian said about the annual town meeting. And what's the expression? Death by 1,000 cuts. We're not voting on, oh, well, we did, the fire station, but typically, we're not voting on everything $1 million. It's, what was the old Everett Dirksen quote, billion here, a billion there, pretty soon you're talking real money.
Have I heard that? You heard that recently?
Did you, yeah, so,
And I don't feel bad about the fire station because the town meeting voters voted, the election voters voted for it. Everybody knows what they were getting into. The Article 2 budget stuff that got moved from Article 2 to 6 or whatever it was, that stuff people don't pay as much attention to. They rely on us. So I feel a little more guilty on that part.
Well, that's the thing, it's a little here, a little there. At the end of the budget, we're voting on this much more than last year, so it.
Yeah, it was a big jump on just the operating budget.
Right, not much we can do about it, county retirement's not gonna give us a break, so, that was the biggest jump.
If I could just make a comment, and from some of the comments I've heard from people around town, I'm going to rebut some of what Dick said about the people knew what they were getting into, with the fire department, and I don't think they understand how much impact that has on other people, other operating budgets within the town. So you can hear Dick saying right now, he's worried about what we're doing now, I'm going to say, and how it's going to impact us in 3 to 4 or 5 years.
Well, it's like somebody with a home. If you're saying, I'm gonna go out and buy a new car, I have this much payment a month, you're gonna have to say at home, well, that means we're cutting back on our grocery bill, because now this is our budget, and if we're gonna hear, it leaves that much left, and that's kind of where you're going there. Not like our revenue growth goes up huge every year. So if we're gonna make a bigger commitment here, it's gonna leave less for other projects inside that, because you made that commitment, and you're gonna have to honor it. So, where do we go from here? Sounds like we have a choice to make what we're gonna recommend going forward. We'd like to all be in agreement where we are here. You've given us pontificated quite a bit, and it's been valuable. But looking at the big picture, do we have to do that? I mean, I certainly understand that a commitment verbally was made that we had this huge debt and we're gonna knock it down. I think it's been a good idea about, can we be looking at a different way to finance that over several years so we're not constraining ourselves as much, especially with other potential capital projects. Can these be rolled into a multi-year note? So if we need 300,000 for all the senior center projects, if we need 300,000 for the TWB project, if we need 200,000 for the loader, should we have $1 million note that we satisfy over 5 years? Something like that. Free-forming here, your thoughts? Yeah, but you're paying that over 5 years. What happens in year 3 when something else comes along? Do you just keep adding that note?
I remind myself that you guys don't pay me to make policy. It's my job is procedural.
Are we paying
policy.
you?
Yeah, you are paying me.
Okay.
But I'm not on county retirement, so I'm not contributing to that cost.
Have a cookie.
But you know, John, I've known you for a long
Must have
time.
been a hardware store retirement plan.
So, you know, I have an opinion on everything, but it's not my job to have an opinion on this. You people are the policy setters. The advisory committee recommends to town meeting what is prudent behavior. I do have a hard time with breaking that commitment, but I don't know any other answer. Other than, if we said no to everything at town meeting, it still is gonna be an ugly year. I don't know the answer, but my pay grade maybe.
Good. Again, these may not be pleasant alternatives, but I think we have to throw everything on the table at this point. We're looking at some bad numbers. Any thought? John? Elise, you're coming in with really no skin in the game. What do you think?
I would typically advise against borrowing as much as possible. I think cutting, buckling our belts is probably the more prudent thing to do, and being conservative in our spending, especially long-term, as we may not be getting as much help from the state going forward as we have in the past.
Dick, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
If we were to, with the fire department, saying everything goes the way it should, we're trying, ultimately your goal was to pay off the water district prior to
Right,
that.
I want
Is
to
that
be-
still a possibility? I mean, we're years away from technically paying on that, correct?
I'm thinking, well, we're in year 26.
Okay.
I'm thinking that we might be bonding in year 28.
Okay.
So we would have the FY 25 free cash money, if we use some of that, we would have a couple of years and maybe a third year at the most. One of the reasons that I'm thinking we do this in 28 is that would fit our audit cycle. We wouldn't have to buy an additional audit. We'd be getting an audit at the end of 27. So we'd have everything, all our ducks in a row. And, I can short-term note, the firehouse should be done in a year, I would think. But I can just keep rolling that over on short-term notes until we get the bonding process done.
Maybe the fire department has to come up with a different plan than, other than 8.7.
Well, we've already approved it. How are you gonna do that?
Well, no, we can spend up to 8.7, doesn't mean they have to.
Well, if
If they came up with a $6 million building, that would save us $2.5 million.
it sounds
Take off the
like,
second floor.
it sounds like that's the type of restraint that our new town accountant is recommending. Now, that one happens to be outside our levy
Yeah.
limit, so it helps the tax rate,
yeah,
but it doesn't help our levy limit. I mean, if we could buy a time machine and go back and change a few decisions that we made in the past that have multiplied,
How much are time machines?
yeah.
More than we have.
We also have to keep borrowing, or we keep new capital requests, new expenditures, so we can't. It's a vicious cycle. We got a credit card that we're just trying to pay off, that
Well,
we just can't get
exactly.
ahead of it, can't get ahead of it.
Borrowing without, if we don't make some changes, the borrowing isn't going to help.
Yeah.
It's just gonna kick it down the road, but actually, I got 2.5 years left in this job and I probably won't care.
Well, you're still a taxpayer in town.
Well, we can fix that too.
Hello, South Carolina.
I hear Ware's got cheap prices, if you don't mind the crack houses.
Sorry for our Ware watchers.
Oh, yeah, the good part,
Yeah,
right.
the good part, yeah.
Just to go back to our commitment to the proposed expenditures at special town meeting, the 950. If we don't spend that 950, it's going to show up in the FY '26 tax rate?
No.
No, not without an appropriation. It'll just be out there and I'll have to borrow
To
forever.
borrow it.
Right. Right.
Here, let me give you a compromise, because you guys are not gonna spend the 950. At least put the 650 we took out of stabilization toward it,
That sounds fair.
at least that. I mean, I'd rather have the whole 900, 950 But, you know, they're taking that money out of stabilization and get it frittered away on operating expenses, it's just, I can't.
No,
We're having honest conversations here. I mean, at the
Yeah,
end of the
it's pretty
day,
good.
at the end of the day, it's going to hit the tax rate in some value or not, whether we borrow.
Yeah, but I'm 70, it might be after I'm dead.
I'm a little bit more in a mindset where you guys are, like, I mean, I know that I struggle to say it, but I mean, we gotta pay it off. So the less we pay, the less we borrow, the less interest we gotta pay, the less we gotta more down the road. The only problem is that it's gonna hit the townspeople harder initially, correct? So, which.
You gotta pay it someday.
You gotta pay it someday, right, but long-term, it's gonna be cheaper to do it this way than
Well,
borrow.
maybe not cheaper, but
Well,
there's
less
no reason to
interest.
think, there's no reason to think, looking down the line, that we're gonna have any significant increase in our revenue. Our expenses, if we're lucky, our expenses will go up by cost of living. But, you know, the last several years, it's been much more than a cost of living, adding this and that.
Well, Brian's got a plan to sell the townhouse for like 300,000 or 400,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I mean,
That'll touch it for 1 year, maybe.
We end up with debt, knowing that, you know, the next few foreseeable years are gonna be difficult as well.
Right, like Dick said, let's clear the decks now because the storm could still be coming.
Right.
Right,
No reason to think it's gonna get better.
right. But,
And, you know, by the way, if we sell this building for 300,000, we're eliminating $500,000 a year to maintain it.
oh, I know.
Yeah.
Half of it, about 50,000.
So go back to the numbers you were projecting, Dick. I don't know, that was mentioned somewhere one time. It was like, what? Yeah, so it was in the paper. What kind of number were you looking at, you said, to keep the tax increase to 7%?
I think I might have that.
Sticking on
Everything's preliminary. So if we just spent 950 at town meeting, period, that would be 7.08% increase by my calculations.
Ballpark, and that, of course, the assessors still have some work to do, and,
Yeah, and I'm not even asking them for a free cash number, we just plugged it at 150 and we went with it. Because that's all over the boards, it was 400 last year and 110 the year before, so who knows? And I'm not expecting them to be at maximum efficiency right now. So, if that's the case, and if you let me have my 650 to pay down the water bill, then that gives you $300,000 to spend at other things at town meeting.
And stay at the 7%.
And stay at 7%. And every 150 raises it another percent.
And that would leave our levy limit at about
That would give us,
700.
that would be excess levy capacity? Yeah, only about 265,
Still that low?
$250,000, yeah.
Yeah, because it's taking the 900 to stabilize, isn't it?
is that, do we have a new growth number from?
No.
Okay, so,
Brian and I both, Brian picked 150, I used his number.
but I mean.
That's conservative.
Potentially could raise it.
Yeah, it could be another 50 grand.
Right, yeah, okay.
You know, it could be 100 grand. But if it takes 150, another one, you have to double it to get a percent off the tax rate.
I know, too bad
Is
they
there
didn't
any
do it.
money to be had with the overlay reserve? Do you know where that's at? No.
Well, it didn't sound like they were very,
Well, they weren't ready to willing to gerrymander it last year, but I have no idea where it sits right now.
right.
Yeah, no
And,
money out of it.
and
we had
with what we're seeing in the
last
free cash thing, maybe they're concerned about keeping the reserve, overlay reserve number up too.
If the uncollectibles are going up, then they can't release it.
Right. So if you're saying to keep it at 7%, these are all rough numbers, we should keep the spending we should try to put half the 1.8 towards reducing the tax rate. 900,
Yeah.
which would leave us
Yeah.
250 for warrant articles. If we wanted to pay the 650 that we took out of stabilization.
Yeah, I was gonna give you 3, but yeah.
Bless your heart.
Well, I had, the 7.8 was spending 950 of the free cash at town meeting. Take the 650 out, put that toward the water district, that gives you 300 for everything else you wanna do.
And a couple of these are almost, well, the one we have to spend is employee benefits. That's the one, because we gotta make that number right, yeah. And that's assuming, as you said, you think there's enough there to cover any new employees,
I don't know.
right?
That thing has been just ballooning,
A lot of growth and benefits.
yeah.
And Brian, you feel, looking at these other things, the TWB, HVAC, that's a pretty, I don't want to say a hard number, but based on quotes you've got, that's in the ballpark.
Yeah, I think we can likely refine that as we get closer to town meeting.
Was there also,
But what about the money we've already appropriated towards TWB? Is there any of that that would reduce that number, that you don't already have a commitment? I mean, we've appropriated roughly 180, 190, which we spent some,
The 80
like
was,
the,
the 80 was strictly the moving cost,
okay, the first 80, okay.
which I guess was a quote, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the higher quote, so I think there'll be some,
And then 100 the second time, which you're using for asbestos and stuff like that, and the door work and all that. That's pretty well committed.
yeah,
A lot of it.
yeah,
Okay. All right, so there's nothing really left over that would reduce that number.
not in any meaningful way.
Okay.
So,
Like, do I think 300's high? I think we'll get that down a little bit, but over the next week, I've asked for better numbers on the
So
individual.
getting it down, we'd be happy if it came down to 250 or something, but you're not going to see it coming down to 200, right? Yeah, okay. All right.
Right, I don't think so.
if you gave Dick the 650 that he's been whining about, and we took out the police cruiser and the highway loader, throw it off the spring, that would give us 1.206, 1,206,000, and we still have 600,000 that we could apply towards the tax rate, or save, or divide up amongst us.
Wait a minute, did I follow that? I don't think I did.
What? You give you your 650,
Right?
and then everything, take out the loader and the police cruiser, that's 245. That'd be that'd be 556.5 for everything else. Plus the 650 would be 1,206,000, 556,000.
556, so we'd be spending 1.1 altogether.
Yeah, well, about 1.2, I got 1.2, but spending
Okay,
1.2.
so, yeah, so,
Oh, yeah, it's 650, yeah.
Then you didn't put anything against the tax rate.
Right, but then you'd have 600,
well, everything it really doesn't matter whether we transfer from free cash or raise and appropriate and then take the entire free cash, put it toward the tax rate. So, I'm sorry, you just reduced, which, 1.2?
1.2, yeah.
So that would come to 1.2, so that would reduce 550, so that would take,
And you still have 600,000.
Right, so have 600 towards the tax rate, which would bring it up in the 8 range,
2.5.
8, 9 range,
We're about 9,
8 to 9 range.
yeah.
You know, and then you're into potentially the assessors shifting around a little bit, yeah.
If new growth is, is a better number, maybe
They're a little better, a little bit better.
You know,
It's funny, it's hard to think that we're coming up with these things, and what's the acceptable, we're looking at like 8 to 9% being not acceptable, but what we might be faced with. Just to honestly pay the bills. And your point is that these are the bills because people voted for them. It's like, you know, you look at, John talked about the fire station, well, they went twice and voted for it.
Yeah.
That bill is gonna happen because you,
You
that's what it's
know,
gonna be.
we've been working hard to try to, you know, keep the wages competitive after all we went through on the Collins study.
Yep.
So we've had reasonable raises, you know, in an inflationary time. You know, you've got to keep up, otherwise we're not gonna be able to hire quality people. So,
All right. So, not looking for, I don't think the board's looking for a hard decision tonight. We wanted to get everything out in the air, get knowledge from you all about where we stood. You obviously have your meetings coming forward. Dick will continue to refine the numbers. Maybe he'll find an extra 75,000 that a previous, you know, treasurer left in the drawer. Maybe the assessors.
Some gold bullion or something.
Exactly.
never know.
Henry Bouch always used to keep a little money.
How
in
many solar
his-
projects did you guys approve this year?
Well, no, we're getting, make money on the electric car charging too, you can keep that revenue.
As long as I keep the meter off.
We got an ambulance,
Hundreds
we got
of
an
dollars.
ambulance rebate.
We've got an ambulance rebate, which will go to next year's free cash.
Hey, you know,
You know, the money for the solar project landfill actually goes up next year as well.
we shouldn't sell the ambulance thing short. I mean, you know, that contract was a good contract at the beginning, and it's.
It's gotten better and better.
Worked out.
Better and better, yeah.
Worked out, you know, as we had hoped.
No.
We got something right. Regional dispatch, we got right.
Yeah.
That saved us $500,000 a year,
Yes.
you know, so, you know, just the labor cost on that, so, you know, it's, we got some stuff right, but good Lord.
So it sounds like we have an idea of potentially a couple of warrant articles to take no action on. Brian will continue to refine numbers for the two bigger numbers, i.e. the TWB HVAC, the senior center HVAC. I think we're, you know, still we have a meeting coming up, and we might get that little pencil on that as well. So a couple other ones, like Don said, we may have to take a hard look at and say, these departments are gonna have to wait a bit, you know, because this is not the time.
Can you just,
Circumstances kind of dictate it.
Yeah.
can you clarify what was the suggested amount of free cash to reduce the tax rate?
Well,
Everything we
talk-
don't spend.
Right. Yeah, we were hoping that we would have 600,000 to 700,000 that would be used. I think Don had
Yeah. well,
1 point
Don-
something.
Don was throwing out
1 point something.
1.2 million
In
number for
expenditures.
spending,
So between the expenditures,
and the free cash number, everything goes,
620,000.
the whole amount
right.
goes, so we're gonna have zero in free cash at the end of this.
We all, traditionally, we always have.
Right,
this
okay,
is
I just
how
wanted to
it
make
works.
sure that we were putting something against the
Right.
tax rate, or else we would be in.
Right, and if we
proper
sharpen the
half override
pencil,
land.
maybe it's
We
700.
don't want to go to.
And again, I don't care if the articles say, I prefer raise and appropriates, but if they're transferred from free cash, that's fine. And then whatever's left we haven't spent,
Right.
Doug will be furiously Heather, actually, she's the brains, will furiously penciling that number down, and everything else goes against free cash, where now we'll bring him.
Right.
They used to hide it, and then
East Long Meadow, same with you.
Sullivan, oh, I got an extra
We don't-
2 million you can put toward the
We don't
senior.
generally put that in the motion, though. Everything goes to free cash, we're not Wilbraham, so moved.
Don't use the word hide.
You
That
know,
much
and
better.
I'm not saying they're wrong, but it's, this is the traditional way.
Yeah, we do it, yeah.
Different way to do it.
We've had stability in the accounting office for 53 years.
All right,
And we will continue to have it.
yeah.
For the next 53?
Yep.
All right, so tonight we're looking to basically reopen and reclose the warrant. This is done, we're signing the warrant. I do see a new article, which I assume is the CPA article,
It's been in there, yeah.
Housing Authority?
There's been a placeholder. Yeah, the Housing Authority,
No. We had the CPA article for the cemetery, but now they requested,
yeah, I didn't have a chance to look at this.
The housing authority.
is that what, that referenced, the new article on the agenda?
Oh, I don't know what that references.
Okay.
No, the Housing
Town treasurer raise, was that?
Housing Authority submitted one today.
Housing Authority is looking for about 43,000, CPA, do some work on sidewalks.
Okay,
That's what this is. This,
all right, well,
Oh, there it is, okay, Lauren had mentioned,
it's probably.
well, that probably isn't what's on the, that probably isn't referenced on the agenda because we just got it today. Do we know what new article meant on the agenda, Brian?
I think that's it, right?
Yeah, but how would, she just got it today.
I don't.
Well, in terms of the, you're going to reach out to John,
He confirmed it.
remove the placeholder?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
They removed it.
He asked,
All right.
I removed it, then I confirmed.
So free cash discussion, where we're leaving it here, we're gonna keep talking about this, try and come to an action point. Your meeting next week,
yes.
do you want to, what time are you meeting, 6? Do you want to come up here and continue this discussion at that point? I mean, even for 10 minutes or whatever after your
That's what I'm
meeting?
thinking, why don't you put us on, for 6:15, 6:20, we'll meet downstairs at
Okay.
6.
Maybe Brian will have new
Give
numbers.
enough time to bring everybody up to speed.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're great people.
Well, yeah.
Select board person, Davenport, yes.
Have a cookie.
Motion for cookie? So move. Let's move. All right, so that's where we are. We shared information. We've got a sense, Dick has pontificated. I'm going to watch this 4 or 5 more times.
Second time tonight.
Bifurcate.
You have to understand that John and I have been on opposite sides of so many discussions for 3 generations.
Look, you're going to make people look bad in front of the new lady. No, stop it. You probably have already poisoned her against the select board already.
Oh,
Just on?
Oh, I didn't know you could lie so well.
Thanks, John. John, stand up for us, will you?
I'm listening, and I'm.
He's Switzerland over there, thank you.
I'm thinking about the 6:15, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to meet.
Yeah, well, we got plenty to go, 6:30, that's fine.
6:30, let's, 6:30.
Wait a minute, if you wander up, we'll meet with you guys. We'll just have you on the agenda for whenever you come up, basically.
Is there any reason to approach the assessors about a new growth number, or is that?
I'll check. I'll check.
Right. Sure. I mean, it's a little much. Jane is really doing a great job, but it's,
There's a lot going on there.
yep, a lot of moving parts. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what it
Yeah,
looks
I
like.
don't wanna create a problem by overestimating.
No,
I can ask her, I'll ask her if
Okay.
if they have any clue on what the trend is.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, if it's up around 400, then that's a significant
It
difference.
helps a little.
are you available next Monday, or is there another race?
Sadly, no, I'm racing Friday and Saturday, last one of the season.
Right, but next Monday.
I'll be here next Monday.
That's what he
Sadly,
said, sadly.
sadly, I'll be available.
With your trophy?
Okay, thank you. All right,
All right.
well, thank you.
Very good.
Okay, has the warrants been signed?
No?
yep.
No, the pay warrants.
Like the payroll.
It's been signed yet?
Oh, my God, how many are there? Oh,
Okay. Would you like a cookie? You should. All right. I'll just leave the empty wrapper here.
we'll just put them in your office for tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow? So it's the retirement account from the hardware store, is that what it is?
Well, man, I didn't expect you to be here this long.
He's like, at least.
Yeah, I've been doing this 15 years, I never thought that was gonna happen.
I've only met Chance, I haven't met Donna.
Oh, you haven't met Don? Oh, you're gonna enjoy this.
Oh, I am. Nice to meet you.
We'll be talking.
If you have snacks in your office, he'll come visit.
Oh, you'll come visit?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Noted. All right,
Oh, I was gonna say it on camera.
I am.
What?
Really?
During the interview process, you said that.
We are
I haven't
transferring
made any.
your office near the kitchen now, so, okay.
Is that one of all those?
This includes chocolate.
What?
There's only 2 in
I
there?
might
Yeah,
be
these are all-
with my
they've been-
budget though.
Did you sign 2 sheets?
Yes, we did.
Did you sign 2 sheets?
I did.
All right, not that I don't trust you.
So,
All right, thank you,
do
guys.
we want to actually make a firm decision on some of the articles or wait for next week? I think we have a trend, know where we're looking
I
at
think
here,
we can make, I'm ready to make a decision.
on recommending something. Okay. All right, let's just, so let's, So you have no, you think the new article refers to potentially the CPA article?
I have no idea.
I just
Text
sent
her.
her.
You could text
I did
her.
I did send her a text. I said only if
sleeping, but-
you're awake, and she hasn't responded.
We do want to put this to bed.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm happy adding the CPA article. Don, were you at a meeting? Did they discuss that at a meeting or anything? You're the rep for the housing, I didn't know.
Yes, they have.
Okay,
For the
so,
sidewalk, also it's 42,000.
Yeah, she responded.
yeah, I mean, we got plenty for it, so it's not really a concern for us.
New article.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to reopen the special town meeting warrant.
Oh, second.
Aye.
I'm so moved.
All in favor? Aye, thank you.
Aye.
Okay, so the warrant, which I don't have a copy here, basically, I believe our consideration is to remove the placeholder for the school article and replace that with a second CPA request from the Housing Authority. And really, all that action will be taken by the CPA board.
Right.
Everyone good with that? All right. Okay, and then I'll entertain a motion to close the warrant again. So moved. We're closing with a
Second.
little paper clip here instead of a stapler.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is the board thinking, are we done? Are we gonna sign the warrant and actually post it?
Now, these
or
things that
we're
we're thinking of remove, at some
We
point,
wanna
not
remove them or
funding,
no action on them? I think
we probably want to know,
I think we need an
think-
explanation at town meeting.
I think there's no action until town meeting, this may be coming up in the spring.
Yep, because we're not saying any more invalid, we just can't do them right now.
Right,
We
right.
should get it out there so people know that
Right.
it's on the horizon.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay,
Okay,
Because we need time to post it, and if we did it next,
all right.
all right.
So how many, you need 7 copies of the sign or something?
yep.
Yeah.
25 copies or something?
7 to 10 here. Those are germ-free.
Thank you.
I printed them.
All right, while you're signing, looking over the article numbers, hey, you spelled stabilization wrong, by the way. Fine.
I just double-checked that.
Really?
Of course not.
No, at the top of the recap sheet.
Spreadsheet?
No, the full one here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, ATM start change, no money. Facilities manager, I don't think we have much of a choice on that. If we want the guy to keep working for the rest of the year, we're gonna have to get the money for it.
You mean he's not gonna do it for free?
You don't. Well, you work for cookies, but
Okay.
employee benefits, we're stuck on that, although, yeah. That budget transfer comes out of the savings from, and actually, there'd even be extra savings, because it was 10%. Budget transfer and fixing the HVAC, 130, and the TBB HVAC as well. I think we're committed to those, but we're hoping that Brian, Gary will come up with a little, and maybe we'll have a savings, those numbers will be lower.
No.
Transfer station, Don, what's your thought on that?
What's the signage?
So that amount equals the 2,500. It's for signage within the transfer station.
So, we don't need that.
Wouldn't that come from the enterprise one?
Well, it could.
Typically?
Was there
Yeah.
power or something being run?
The power thing,
The 10,000 is to provide electricity to,
Is it really cost?
I still think we have an opportunity for Amoresco to do that for us.
we're kind of running out of time.
Well, no, we're only running out of time because we set the town meeting time, so I think, let's reach out to Steve tomorrow and see if, because he was willing to do it,
I mean,
It was?
yeah.
Why do you do it?
No, I'm saying let's get a commitment from him. We've been,
Okay.
we have worked with Amoresco and bent over backwards for him, so.
yeah, he'll do
All right,
it,
let's put that one on, that could be a,
potential.
yeah.
What, and why is it $10,000 to run a wire from one pole to the shed?
A 240 volt good wire.
That was the estimate.
It's a long, I think she came to one of the meetings and kind of talked about it. It was a-
Yeah, I mean, you gotta,
Quite a distance.
well, they gotta put, they can't bring it into, I mean, it's gotta be, they can't go into the ground, so it's gotta be one of the poles at the top, and you gotta wire the shed too, but there's no wiring in it, yeah. I bought that from Clotter. Cruiser, Also goes back into,
I'll
we
say,
haven't finished about it, but
I say,
the chief's cruiser, the chief's car was bought to be a cruiser, and for whatever reason, it wasn't outfitted that way. But it is a car with 40-something on it, and for, I think the price told us one time was in the 10 to 15 range to make it a fleet, you know, which would be a lot cheaper. So that would be one, I think could be a,
potential to see in the spring.
yeah. Yeah, and in the spring, we probably got, I think we've already said,
We're gonna do it anyhow.
right. They still go back into, one time, Don, we transferred half the cost of a cruiser from the detail account. Remember 30 and 30, and yeah, so,
I don't think you can do that.
well, we did it.
You charge a cruiser,
DOR signed off on it.
you charge a cruiser fee for the details, right? Think you can charge 5% of the detail?
And with the detail work they've been doing lately, that account should be in good shape.
So, that's a good point. They had a lot of details between the water
No, I
project.
mean, we get a cut to reimburse the expenses of the police department.
Right.
And the expense is everything.
So where does that money sits in the,
It's in a detail account, but I think it's supposed to be transferred to,
You think it gets swept?
I think it gets swept.
Hasn't yet.
Well,
There are details that go with the fiscal
correct,
year
yeah,
too,
right.
so that'd be some carryover. Loader,
it's gotta go,
great deal, but,
gotta go to the
yeah,
spring.
right. Who knows, Tyler may have another good deal in the spring. Parks,
There's 20,000, but that can't go against the revolving account. You got like 90,000 in the revolving
their
account.
53D account, I mean, that's, you gotta look at how it was a neighbor.
Right, yeah.
And that was 15, 20 years ago. I just go back to, what kind of car are you gonna get for 20,000?
This day and age.
Right.
Stuff.
Now, Dan did share with Brian and I that they're gonna get an official quote on repair for around 7,000 to 8,000.
yeah, he said, I think he said he had it.
Yeah, but,
And he said he had gone to Corby's at the initial meeting. I think he said it was 4,000 to do the bed and the oil leak, right?
Yeah, but even 8,000 is better than 20,000.
and I'm just, what do you, I looked at the, online, I just don't see where you're gonna get a really good vehicle. So I think that's a potential too. But then we're back to,
CPA,
well, there's no money there, so I think Dick's suggestion, at least the 650 has some merit.
local room occupancy. That's it, 650 for Dick.
And then you also have an option, I mean, we do have 1.3 in the stabilization account,
Ziation,
Ziation account, that's a separate account.
it's a different one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you could tap it for 300, under 300, and take another bite and bring it down to 6%. And still leave $1 million in the stabilization account. There's an extra out there, you know, so that's, so I think that should be part of our discussion next week as well.
Okay.
Can't kick it forever, but we'll have more information next week. Maybe the assessor will have a sense of maybe new growth is better. Okay.
Yeah, new growth will help us in the sense that it'll lift the levy limit.
Levy limit.
It'll lift the levy limit, but it won't pay for,
No, but it shifts some of the tax, I wouldn't say tax burden.
a little bit it will.
Yeah, because the
you'll
people who
have
do new growth are gonna pay that potential that, so it's not for Don and I who haven't done squat to our house.
Right.
You know, so our increase would be 5.95 and the other person would be 605 because they actually have something new.
Well, you all be the same, it's just,
Well, the bill, I mean, the bill would.
the tax rate will go down a little bit.
Because our value wouldn't really change, but their value would.
The burden is shared among more.
Yeah.
The burden
All right,
is distributed differently. Yeah.
all right, so Herb talked to Brian about he has someone who's been helping out This person has been doing it, I don't want to say pro bono, but for nothing, and we don't think that's fair. If it's a valuable person, we should do the standard hiring. This should be less than the insurance number, I believe, less than 20 hours a week. Corey check, I assume, and pay that person out of temp help at this point. We're okay with that?
So moved.
All right, then. Bridge contract.
What's that? Second, yeah.
All in favor, aye, thank you. So bridge contract, boy, this changed, Don, over the years, huh?
Yeah.
Boy, originally we were getting that bridge, it wasn't gonna cost us a dime.
Still trying.
Yeah. So now we're up to, with this contract, what, 250? Or more?
Above and beyond the grant?
Yeah.
Yeah, in that ballpark. So just a quick update. I reached out to, when they sent the contract out, they also sent the bid docs out. So where we are now with the bridge project itself is that it's nearing the end of Chapter 85 review. I think Mass DOT has sent their final questions and comments to the engineer, and I believe they just responded back to MassDOT. We also had the award letter for the small bridge grant, which was for $500,000. When I was looking at the contract that they had sent, it occurred to me that I'd never seen the actual grant contract, the grant agreement before. So I wasn't going to sign a contract with VHB without that grant contract. So I went back to the award letter. The award letter said, once we're through Chapter 85 review, then MassDOT will send us a grant agreement for the $500,000. So we checked back in with them, and MassDOT, through our engineer, asked if we were going to be seeking additional grant money. So I said no.
What?
I'm kidding. I was like, yeah, of course.
Grants.
So I think historically, this program has increased award amounts.
Mark did tell us that before, there's
Yeah.
potential, yeah.
I think this is one of the programs where they have projects coming, either project doesn't get completed or a project comes in under budget, you're right. More likely projects aren't ready, so there's additional money in the fiscal year. So we're gonna make the request for the full amount. So we're gonna ask for that additional 250, and we'll see what they say. But that's where we are. Chapter 85 review is almost done. We're gonna make that request for the additional grant money to cover the entire project. And they're thinking that, the hope was that we would put this project out to bid this fall sometime, but I think it's gonna get pushed to winter at this rate.
Right, now, Mark was carrying the number for this project in his current construction number? Is actually.
Yeah, and I believe on that, on the sheet of Chapter 90 projects that he presented with us, it was in the ballpark of $450,000.
Okay,
So ideally, the grant will cover that amount, and that can get reprogrammed.
yep, that'd be great. Okay.
So
We're not signing the contract because we're waiting to hear the 85 to be finished. You need that officially finished, and then we can sign the contract.
yes,
You'd like
or you
that.
could authorize me to sign it, and then I'll do it once.
Does that constrain us if we sign it about, getting additional money? Are you worried about that?
No, if I was authorized to sign it, I wouldn't sign it till the grant agreement came through.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to authorize town administrator to sign the South Road Bridge project contract upon notification of Chapter 85 completion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Power you have, Brian's incredible.
Thank you.
Okay, we're meeting on the 20th.
20th.
And let's see, member reports. Anybody want to recap the fun we had on Thursday? Don? Thanks for volunteering.
We met with the Hampden Wilbraham Regional School Committee, the Select Board of Wilbraham, the Advisory Committee from Hampden, and one member of the Finance Committee from Wilbraham. Discussion centered around the budgetary process for the Regional School Committee and capital improvements that they're looking for. Neither Wilbraham or Hampden has the money for any of it. But we're moving forward. Wilbraham wants to reconvene meetings of the select boards to discuss the regional agreement. And I explained that, again, that we were looking for a carve-out, particularly to do with the heating, the ventilation system. They wanted to go back to Brian's original proposals that he wrote, but they've already said no to those proposals because they don't believe that well, it's rather curious. They had sent a letter back in April saying that the majority of the Wilbraham School Board Select Board does not favor carve-outs of the Wilbraham Middle School capital projects. Its concerns include those Wilbraham Middle School capital projects identified in the study for 2015 and the existing Wilbraham Middle School capital project list as provided district. Rationale for this majority opinion includes doubt about the relevance of a study from 10 years ago and the reality that the middle school capital project approved by both communities going forward. Well, I guess the relevance of the heating, the relevance of the ventilation thing is you just spent $400,000 on cleaning up the mold. And the state was in there saying that you're making 33 recommendations how to improve it, so the relevance is there. And they're also, the school committee has seeking grants from the school building assistance program for the windows and doors at the Wilbraham Middle School. And they'll have the answer to October 29th, I think he said was the date they'll do it, so that's where we are. But they want to meet again, so I'm in no rush, and I don't know about you guys.
Good recap, thank you. But bottom line, I think it's at the meeting, Don's been there before. The earlier you meet and discuss things and get it out there, the better. We don't need that 11th hour thing that happened for some of the projects last year. It didn't help anything, you know, so we encourage and more of what happened back in the old days when we met and they showed, oh, there was a 3% increase here, 4% here, boom. Getting it out early, it helps us do our job. All right, Eric, anything?
Nothing overly to report. I was gonna just reiterate, and more was Brian, probably gonna more fall on Brian, is what Charter is their announcement that they had from there. I guess I can speak to it. So Brian had attended the press release, and the big announcement was the $50 million in improvements that they've done are the things that they've already done. So apparently, yes.
Okay.
So, but the question at hand is when is this going to be turned, switched on and ready for the residents? And they're indicated, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, they hope to do that by the end of the year.
Yep.
So that's on the current network, and that gets into upload, download speed?
Correct. I believe they're promising multi-gigabit upload and download speeds.
But that's not a fiber build out.
I don't believe, did they specify what exactly they did?
It's fiber to the node.
Fiber to the node.
So it's fiber on the pole.
So when they said the fiber build out, they were telling us last year to keep us from, I want to say, going a different direction. Is that still a fiber to the home, or it's only node fiber?
So I believe it's node, fiber to the node, and then I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's coax to the house. The one thing that they had said in previous meetings that they were talking about offering fiber to the home in the future, not so distant future, at an additional cost, so you'd have a true.
That would be pretty.
I believe that's true.
That's true, okay, so right now it's kind of a hybrid system. However, the promise is to have the symmetrical up and download speeds, which is one of the primary reasons why we had the fiber optic committee, because we wanted faster, more reliable internet. So let's see if this turns into something.
Okay, but isn't it, and I go back, this is an analogy only Don will get, isn't it a kind of the case of like your stereo system is as good as its weakest component? We could have a great turntable, but if the speakers are bad, it sounds bad.
Right.
Isn't the speed limited if you're just going to be, thank you, Brian. If the part to the house is still coax, isn't that the limitation? I mean, you can have fiber all the way through, but.
So I would agree, a true hybrid system would be the fastest system. No doubt there are limitations to coax, but their promise is that it's going to offer symmetrical upload and downloads in excess of 1 gig up and 1 gig down. With this new current coax, yes.
Oy, wow.
So they found that they have other customers that currently have that. They're saying it's tried and true. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, that's, yeah.
That's kind of what they're promised.
Okay, great. Other reports, Brian and I, quickly on the lighting thing, Brian and I met with Paul Marcelino, and we invited Dan Blanchard there as well. We met at the school earlier today. They have reached out to the diocese, who is going to donate a tree from their patch of trees that are between St. Mary's and Munson Savings. Paul has worked out with somebody to actually have the tree transferred, planted free of cost to the town, and we're working towards basically the lighting, Hampden holiday lighting plan that we talked about with Mr. Marcelino and Mr. Picnelli several weeks ago, and we'll have more on that. A very excellent meeting, and obviously brought Dan in as well, because the parks is integral to, what they did with the upgrade of the gazebo, et cetera.
Parks and
And we
Garden
hope that everything is going to be ready for the tree lighting ceremony in December over there. Instead of I'm not sure what we're doing with the tree here, leave it for the deer.
Deer can eat
Already
the rest
halfway
of it.
through it now. Right, so, Brian,
Yes, and it should be, I think he was talking about a 12 to 14 foot tree to bring in, so be a little bit bigger, and we can see.
holy tree.
More food for the deer.
A real Christmas tree, that one.
Real Christmas. This Friday, I'm going to be attending interviews for the health director position. I didn't apply, I'm just going to ask questions. We have 5 candidates for that position, so we'll be doing interviews in Long Meadow.
Anything new on with the chief?
Yep. So I met with Dan for about an hour and a half the end of last week. So we're working in scheduling the pre-employment exams. I think the longest one's going to be the psychological exam, because one of the academies just let out, essentially. So there's a little bit of a backlog for that, but we were told that we could get priority, so we're waiting to schedule that. I need to send him the contract proposal, and he's completed all the other paperwork that we need, so
Great.
we're moving forward with that.
Anything new with the highway?
With highway? Oh, the highway union?
Yeah. All of them? Okay. It's tough getting them all in one room together?
No, but I will send, it's been so long, I'll email them again.
I hate to say it, I mean, we carried a certain number, if it, we have no ability to change it at this point, right? Okay, hey, we need this much, okay, we agree this much more, but one of you's got to go. Sorry, pick a guy.
Full steam ahead at Thornton Burgess. The abatement is started. It will wrap up probably in a couple days. They were estimating a week. I think they're already through removing all the 4 tiles. It came up pretty easy, let's just say that. A little bit of water underneath them for years kind of separates them from the mastic a little bit.
Not like other places, we're just saying, let's be
Right.
clear, right, Don?
Right, no,
Yeah,
not
not like
the
neighboring
ones.
places. Yeah, I noticed the sign was gone, have you ordered the new one?
Maybe. Mark has sent a inquiry about a new sign for that location.
Down for a while, yeah.
Yeah. The idea would be, it would be a sign that would last a couple of years, with the idea that we would get a new, better sign at some point with all of our excess money that we have. But it would be nice to have, I think it would be nice to have a newer sign at some point. Once the abatement is done, hopefully by the end of this week, we have the flooring contractor's going to come in right after that. So we had a little stall with the procurement for the electronic doors, the electronic access for the doors. We needed to go out and reach out to other vendors as part of the ITC 71 contract. We've got other quotes in, so we're ready to move forward with that. Other than that, Herb's changing out the lighting, doing some painting, and the person who's assisting him. So everything's pretty much on track for, I still feel good about maybe the week of November 10th for the move. If we needed to, the week of the 17th. But I don't know, I don't think a week would buy us a lot of time. Eva had the folks from the state, because she has the state, the separate state computer system there. Representatives from Verizon were out there today. We need to do some modifications to bring that Verizon line into the server room. But it's not anything that's gonna slow us down, so.
And Entree, that was a couple weeks ago, the charter had come out and done some Wi-Fi, and then Entree was putting some infrastructure. Are they still continuing work on that?
Yes, I don't know when they're back out. I need to check in with Entree. So charter came out, it didn't need any site work. They came out, attached the cable modem, and then we're pretty much good to go there.
Okay.
And for town meeting, you're confirmed with the AV company for town
Yes.
meeting, okay.
When is Entree gonna do,
The 10 to 11 upgrades?
Yeah.
I need to follow up with our account representative. I was thinking about that the other day, because I believe it was the 14th that was
right, yeah,
the day that they're gonna stop
Yeah,
today?
updates, so I will double check with them.
good.
Parking lots painted, TWB. We used the least expensive parking lot paint, because the idea was that at least that section of the parking lot was gonna be repaved, next year, so.
And you're gonna check with Mark on the lights for the town meeting. Right.
Yep, yeah, we talked about that this afternoon.
Okay, well, I think the biggest thing going forward, I'm not sure what we have projected for next week, but the biggest thing for next week is going to be continuing the financial discussion going forward. So any thoughts you all have, within, appropriate measures, please put them out there.
Yeah, I feel like it was a good compromise, given the situation.
Well, I think the frank discussion was good. I mean, we all have ideas, and everyone but one person is paying taxes here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't pay your taxes?
No, not the way you guys are talking, forget it.
All right, anything else to come before the board? Anybody online today? or no?
Hours at this rate.
Brian, anybody online today? No?
Very few.
No, there's
Former
just
select-
Carol and Craig.
Former select board member Rivas was online.
Get out of here.
Checking on Eric, probably.
All right, seeing no other action coming before the board, I'll entertain a motion to get the heck out of here.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Have a good week.